Hello creative friends, Marjolaine here with Gel Press, Faith Impressions, and a whole bunch of products from Talens. So for today's video, I'll be using the Faith Impressions kit, as well as the wing demi plate from Gel Press, which I'll be using as a flame. I'll be using a stencil from 12 Stones Art Studio, some markers from Talens, and their soft pastel by Art Creation. Oh, and some acrylic paint. And my Bible journaling entry is going to be in the Beautiful Word 365-day devotional. So here I'm going to use some cotton swabs to apply some of the soft pastel through the stencil. And I'm going to use some different colors because I want it to look like she has clothes on. And so I'm going to use that dark blue to make some jeans, and I'll use the thinner tip of my cotton swab to apply some black to make some shoes. And now I'm just overthinking the color for the shirt. Part of the reason is that there's a bit of a black stain on my border plate, and when I tried to apply a darker color, it didn't show. The technique would have totally worked, but because I couldn't see it, I was a little nervous. So I ended up using the lighter green, and that worked beautifully. So here I'm trying to get some of the soft pastel powder into the little crevices in the hands and fingers. It took a little more effort, but with extra powder on the tip of my cotton swab, it worked fine. So here I'm going to speed things up quite a bit because you don't need to sit there for half an hour watching me do this. So I'll just be applying some of the soft pastel to this wing to create like a flame, and then I'll be doing the background on the border plate. So it did take a bit of time to do, so you do need a little bit of patience for this. So this technique is similar to using alcohol inks, where in order to have an impression you need to put acrylic paint on top so that the alcohol ink would have something to stick to. So it's the same idea here. So I'm just going to roll some white acrylic paint onto my plate, and then the soft pastel will come off on my print. And so today, instead of putting my print directly on the paper, I'm gonna pull it on a piece of crumpled up tissue paper. And I'm doing that because I think it has a really cool texture and it looks really nice, in my opinion. And it's not going to be a perfect impression, and that's actually the way that I like it. If you wanted a better impression, you would need to take a little more time in making sure that every single area has some of the pastel. But as you can see on the left arm, I didn't put enough of the soft pastel there. But I'm okay with it because it makes it look kind of grungy, and that's kind of the way I like it. And here I'm just going to pull up the rest of the paint and the pastel just to use at a later time. And next I'm just going to add some red and yellow paint just for a very simple background, so that you can't see those lines that are in the margin of my devotional book. So I've just gone and ripped around the edges because I just want it to look more grungy, and I love how it turned out, and I'm just going to use some Mod Podge to adhere it to the page. So here I'm showing you that my flame didn't turn out so well on the tissue paper. It's gonna look nice in a background somewhere collaged, but it just didn't cut it for this. So I'm gonna do it again, and this time I'm gonna put it directly on the page. So as you can see, it didn't turn out great here either. I think the color's just not dark enough on top of the yellow tissue paper. So I'm attempting it again, but I'm just going to end up using paint directly on the plate, and then it shows up a lot better. So as you're watching, I'm going to read this devotional, and it was on July 20th, but I'm doing this in January. And so the verse was from Job chapter 23, verse 10, and it says, "He knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." And so the devotional says this: "A refinery is a place that heats metal so hot that it becomes liquid, and the impurities rise to the top, where they are removed. When the refining process is finished and the metal has cooled, the raw lump of gold, recently full of dirt and other impurities, is now shiny and pure. And in that state, the metal is both useful and valuable. Think of the fiery trials you walk through as one way God refines your character and strengthens your faith. You may be tempted to try to run out of those fires, recuperating instead of walking through them. But don't. This verse promises that not only does God know the pathway through the fire that you're walking, but He will use that journey to refine you. You'll be a different person when you emerge from the flames, and that is cause for rejoicing." And then they have a little prayer at the bottom. "Lord, as I face this fiery trial, give me your perspective that this refinement is for my good and your glory. Bring me forth as gold, I pray. Amen." And to finish off, I'm just going to use these water-based markers just to add some marks here and there, and then just write something with the black marker, and then I'm done. So I hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Gel Press channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.